The 90s, a decade that marked a generation. A time when everything seemed simpler, more fun. And in the midst of it all, one show became the heart of television. Friends was not just a program, it was a window into a world of laughter, friendships, and unforgettable moments.
I mean, I too am a neat guy.
It's no wonder that to this day we're transported back to Central Perk as if we've just walked out of a meeting with Ross, Rachel, Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Phoebe. It was an era where relationships, both at work and in personal life, took on a new way of being lived. And Friends was the protagonist of that change. With each episode, we saw the magic of true friendship being built. And of course, the most hilarious comedies that made us laugh as if we were living those situations ourselves. Who doesn't remember the epic moments, the shared laughs, and the friendships that transcended the screen? The show was a reflection of our own youth, full of discoveries, uncertainties, but always with that touch of humor that made life seem lighter. And today, like never before, Friends continues to be a powerful reminder, a time capsule that keeps the 90s nostalgia alive in our hearts. Hey, are you enjoying this trip down memory lane? Then what are you waiting for? If you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance. Remember, the 90s nostalgia doesn't stop here. Subscribe now and don't miss out on any of this amazing journey of memories and fun. Because if you grew up in the 90s, you know these memories shouldn't be forgotten. They deserve to be celebrated. And for that, you need to be part of everything we're bringing. Let's relive everything that made that decade unforgettable. Hit that subscribe button and join this. And even with the passing of the years, Friends continues to be a reflection of our own experiences. Chandler's timeless jokes, Ross and Rachel's romantic moments, and Joey and Monica's funny adventures always remind us that life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. When we watch, we relive the magic of a time when friendship was the true star, and when any problem seemed smaller when shared with those we love. The setting, the humor, and the characters became symbols of an era, but also of a universal feeling, the search for belonging and the value of true relationships. Friends was not just a reflection of the 90s, but also a foreshadowing of what many of us would experience in our own lives. Friendships that withstand time, romantic crises, and that desire to find a place where we could always be ourselves. And as the years went by, Friends became more than just a TV show. It was a reflection of what many of us were experiencing at that time. For many, Friends episodes were a comfort. It was as if those 6 friends were our own support figures, dealing with the ups and downs of life, facing romantic crises, career challenges, and of course, hilarious and laid-back moments at Central Perk. Even though we had never lived in New York, the show made us feel like we were part of that world. A world where friendships mattered more than anything else. Each episode, with its funny and dramatic situations, made us reflect on our own friendships and relationships. Ross and Rachel's fights, Chandler's professional struggles, Monica's sincerity, and Joey's irreverence showed us that life was full of ups and downs. But in the end, everything was always better with a good friend by your side. The show brought to the screen something simple yet powerful: the importance of having people around you who are willing to laugh, cry, and grow with you. In a world where worries and responsibilities increased every day, Friends was a relief, a reminder that things could be lighter, more fun. And even though times changed, the sense of belonging that the show conveyed still touched us, as if that group of friends was the reflection of what everyone wanted to have. A true, lasting friendship that would endure the test of time and life's challenges. And the sense of belonging was something that Friends managed to convey in a unique way. Even though the characters were constantly going through personal crises, like Chandler's insecurities with his job or Ross's failures in relationships, there was something that united them all: true friendship. And this is what resonated so deeply with the audience. The show told us that no matter how unpredictable and sometimes even cruel life could be, the unconditional support of friends could be the foundation needed to face any adversity. What's interesting is that despite each character being so unique, they all had something in common: the flaws and imperfections that made them human. Monica with her obsession with perfection, Chandler with his sarcastic humor and insecurities, Ross with his on and off relationships, and Joey with his charming simplicity all reflected an aspect of what many of us experience. But it's when these characters come together, when they sit down together at Central Perk or in one of the apartments, that the true power of friendship is revealed. There, between laughs and confessions, we find the strength that often eludes us when we are alone. And what's most impressive is that Friends not only made us laugh, but it also made us reflect on our own friendships and relationships. Amidst all the jokes and iconic scenes, there was a powerful message: the value of being present, being loyal, and supporting those we love. As the series unfolded, we didn't just watch the lives of these characters, we imagined ourselves there, with them, participating in that circle of friendship that was both comforting and inspiring. As the series evolved, we began to notice how Friends also reflected the social and cultural changes of the 90s. Amid the laughs and lighter moments, there was a deep layer of discussions about identity, belonging, and the challenges of adulthood. Each of the 6 friends faced issues like job insecurity, social pressure, and the difficulties of growing and maturing. But what was most interesting is that despite all these adversities, Friends never lost its light and relaxed tone, a balance that, in a way, made us feel more comfortable with our own struggles. After all, watching the characters handle their problems reassured us that we weren't alone in our personal battles. It was precisely this combination of comedy and deep reflection that made Friends such a beloved and relevant show. With each episode, we followed the growth of the characters, whether in their professional lives or their personal relationships. The way Ross, for example, dealt with his divorce and tried to reconnect with his kids, or how Monica and Chandler, an unlikely couple, built a new life dynamic together, gave us the sense that despite the stumbles, there's always room for new beginnings. The humor, which seemed simple at first glance, was always accompanied by an important message: change is a part of life, and often the toughest moments lead to some of the greatest personal achievements. Additionally, Friends showed us that life doesn't always follow what we plan. Ross wanted to be a successful paleontologist, but his love and personal life didn't always align with that dream. Monica, who always sought perfection, had to learn to deal with the reality of her own and others' imperfections. And Joey, with his acting career, constantly lived between dreams and the reality of being a TV star just beyond his reach. These journeys, full of ups and downs, prove that no matter how much you plan, life always has its own surprises. And through all of this, there was something constant: friendship. What Friends taught us throughout its 10 years was that despite all the challenges and uncertainties of life, friends are those who can help us make sense of it all, find ourselves again when things seem to fall apart, and most importantly, remind us that no matter how tough things get, there's always room to laugh and find joy in the little things. Throughout the 10 seasons, Friends not only made us laugh, but also gave us an honest view of the difficulties and challenges of adulthood. When we look at the characters, we realize that behind the jokes and quirky situations, there was a true portrayal of the issues we face in our lives. Insecurities at work, romantic dilemmas, frustrations, and the joys of growing up. Each of the Friends characters went through moments of transformation, both personally and professionally, and this made us feel like we weren't alone in our own journeys. It was in this backdrop of growth and change that the true magic of Friends appeared. What seemed like just a comedy series was, in fact, a reflection on human relationships and the power of friendship in times of adversity. The bond between the 6 friends transcended the funny situations and daily stumbles. It was more than just laughs at Central Perk. It was about mutual support, unconditional love, and the honest conversations we all long to have in real life. The challenges they faced, like Ross trying to balance his work and relationships, or Monica and Chandler dealing with the ups and downs of a serious relationship, reflected issues we've all lived through in some way. The show, as light as it was, brought up something important. The struggles of life are easier to handle when we have trusted people by our side. Even though Ross and Rachel's relationship was one of the main plot points, it was their friendship and the friendship of all the others that really gave the show its meaning. Each of them went through their personal battles, but in the end, what remained was the idea that no matter what, True friendship will always prevail. This is what Friends taught us, that no matter how things change, there will always be something constant that keeps us standing. Friends. As Friends unfolded, it became increasingly clear that while the characters were different in many ways, there was something that united them in an unbreakable way. The value of true friendship. At a time when social conventions were changing rapidly and adulthood seemed more complex than ever, Friends offered us something simple and timeless. The idea that no matter what happens, good friends will always be there. Not just for the parties and fun moments, but also for the tough times, the doubts, and the falls we all experience throughout life. What Friends managed to uniquely capture was the way friendships in real life evolve over time. That friendship, full of laughter and adventures in the early years of youth, gradually transforms and deepens as life's challenges arise. Ross and Rachel, Monica and Chandler, Phoebe and Joey, each of these pairs went through ups and downs, but in the end, their friendships were always the foundation they leaned on. They showed us that even when life takes us on unexpected paths, the connection between true friends is something that never fades. And that's what makes Friends so special. It's not the big dramatic situations that make the show unforgettable, but the small moments. That glance from Chandler to Monica when she talks about something important, or the silent exchange of looks between Ross and Rachel, expressing everything that words couldn't. It's these simple yet meaningful gestures that remind us that, in the end, it's friendships that shape who we are, that give us strength and help us grow. Friends taught us, in a lighthearted and fun way, that true friendship isn't measured by grand gestures, but by the everyday moments, the small acts of support and care that make all the difference. And in the end, what Friends really taught us was that no matter the circumstances, true friendship is what remains. Over the years, we watched these 6 friends face the greatest challenges of their lives, but always with each other's support. The show may have ended, but the lesson it left will never disappear. The idea that no matter how things change, no matter how lives transform, friendship is the bond that can withstand time, obstacles, and the toughest moments. Each episode, each scene, each laugh, and each tear shared showed us what really matters, the human connections we create throughout our lives. Friends wasn't just about 6 people in New York, but about all of us. It was about the ups and downs of life, the joys and sorrows we all experience, and above all, the importance of having someone by your side when the world seems to crumble. Those simple moments of mutual support, those looks and gestures that speak louder than words, are what define true friendships. And so Friends continues to be a time capsule that keeps alive the nostalgia of an era and a friendship that transcends the screen. The legacy of the show isn't just in its memorable jokes or hilarious situations, but in the timeless message that true friendship is one of the greatest gifts we can have. After all, as the characters themselves said, "I'll be there for you." And that, without a doubt, is what we all need. Friends who are there no matter what happens. Did you enjoy reliving those moments from the 90s? The nostalgia of that era is more alive than ever, and I'm sure you've got some amazing stories and memories from that time that shaped so many generations. If you love revisiting the best of the 90s as much as we do, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Tell us, what was your favorite product from that era? Or what 90s memory still makes you smile today? And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any content packed with nostalgia. Let's keep these memories alive. See you in the next video, where we'll continue to travel through time and rescue everything that made the 90s so special.